clicked it at the same time.
Rip, how's it going, man?
Hey, man. 1 second. Yeah. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good.
We got you on a different show this time. So this is Get Technical, where we like to
it's not okay. Yeah.
Go through technical patterns and whatnot. Have a lot of fun doing so. So we thought you'd be the perfect guy to bring on.
Okay. I did want to talk about some psychology stuff today as well, but if you have time, but I can start with whatever technical you want to discuss with me.
Rip, let's start with a chart just to get an idea of what you're looking at today, and then you can segue into that stuff that you have prepared. Because I don't think we've really ever talked about psychology on the show at all. So that would be awesome.
Yeah. I mean, there are certain things I see every day. New followers come, and I see the same kind of the mood, the same kind of expectations, or in new traders. So I really wanted to talk about it. I don't have time to do webinars and all, and so only time I talk with people is when I'm on Benzinga. And so I thought today will be a good day to discuss a few things regarding your personality and trading, positivity in life and trading, and of course I'll talk about some EMA clouds and technicals. So yeah, just let me know what you want me to start with.
Here, let's do it. This is the people show. So guys, you're all very excited. Give us a 1 in the chat if you want to talk about mindset in trading. I mean, this is stuff that might take you a lot further than just looking at tickers for the day. So drop the 1s in the chat to talk about that mindset stuff.
Yeah, I think it goes hand in hand. We were just talking about stop losses, which of course you can tie into kind of the psychology, mental side of trading. If it's something that you don't want to be watching every day, you can set some stop losses, and that way, not necessarily have to stress over and be watching your positions all the time. So I do think it's important that we do talk about some mindset stuff on Get Technical. And even if we do start with the psychology stuff, we will get to the EMA clouds.
Yeah.
I'll talk about a bunch of our recent plays, bunch of our big winners like NVIDIA. And last time I was here, I talked about Apple, how 150 was a big level. And I told them that when that one breaks and then we go into 154, 155. So I don't know where did we go, but we really did good at that. So, I've talked about it always when I'm here talking about my large caps, low floats, or biotechs. So I'll talk about some picks at the end, whatever. But let me start with the psychology, right? So there are two kinds of psychology. One is the psychology that's a chart. A chart that we see is nothing but a human psychology on a paper. I mean, it's on a screen now, not on a paper, right? When you, if you see the something which is going lower and lower and making, breaking all-time lows, 52-week lows, right? That is a human psychology of fear and getting out, right? And they just don't want more losses, right? So that's that fear, and it gets on top of it and that's why you see that the chart is at lows, right? And then if you see a strength in a chart being consolidated at a certain level, there's just a human psychology which tells us that the buyers see that support level as a key point to buy it, right? So they think it's a good level to buy, and they keep coming in. It's a human psychology. And when the chart starts to break out, the human psychology of greed or missing out comes in, and that's why chart starts to make new highs and highs and highs. So that's a chart psychology. I didn't really want to talk about the chart psychology. I always talk about that. There is a chart psychology that it's high probability if you trade a strong chart, low probability if you take a weak chart, right? A weak chart, which is at 52-week lows, every bounce is just an excuse for bag holders to get out. That's their psychology, that they just want to get out. So I'm not really going to go into the chart psychology. I just want to talk about your psychology as a trader once you start, getting into a trade. So everyone and each one of us we are made different, right? I'm an emotional, I don't have much patience, but some of you might have more patience, and some of you, it's easier to say. Sometimes it's easier to say, okay, make some discipline in trading. You have to do this, to do that. But sometimes we can't just change how we are built, how God built us, how's our psychology. So trade around that, right? You can't just look at this trader, oh, how does this trader doing so good? Anytime I go in, I just take a little bit profit and I get out, right? Because that trader might be built differently psychologically in his mind, that what works for him, holding longer term, that's why he swings more. Maybe you are nervous, you can't hold much. Maybe scalping is in your psychology, right? So you just have to find out what is your personality, basically, right? What is your trading personality? Once trading is not just you come here, you learn some indicators, you read some books on investing, and then you say, okay, I can make a lot of money, right? So when I was losing, I was 3 years, I believe, 50,000, 100,000, so many accounts, right? But I did some mistakes which were based on my personality. Some things I could change, right? Some I couldn't. My personality is not dip buying. When I see a weakness, it gives me anxiety. A lot of people come to me, hey, why don't you buy this? This is cheap, right? It's not cheap for me because it gives me anxiety. So I removed that part from my trading. I go with breakouts. I go with the strength. So that was me, right? So find out what is your trading personality. Go with that. Don't, if you see 100 people, oh, this guy's making $1 million, this guy's making 200,000, don't go chasing him, right? Find your personality. That's the key. It's all mental game. And once you start to go dig deep into yourself, and then you can find a system based upon your personality. You could start being build more conviction. Maybe you are an options player, maybe you are a large caps player, maybe low floats, crazy moves is not suited to your personality. So that's what I wanted to talk about, about the personality part. I'm sure it will resonate with a lot of people, right? A lot of my followers, because I just wanted to put that out, right? So if you are new, just take it slow, figure out, you can be something different. So what I was doing, nobody was doing, right? Let's say I was on Twitter, so I saw a lot of people do a lot of stuff, but I nothing was, according to me, not appealing to me. So I found my own way. That's why I think I'm successful today because of that reason, right? You can be different. You don't have to be same as some other person. Just be different, right? Money is irrespective. I mean, if you don't find your strength and just chase your weakness or somebody else's strength, you chase that, maybe you won't find success, because you never really identified who you are. I mean, it's kind of psychological stuff I'm talking, but it's very important. Deep down, it will give you motivation. It will give you conviction. So just wanted to talk about that a little bit today. Yeah.
That was really good. We're getting a lot of comments in the chat that are resonating with that really well.
Yeah. So if you don't have any question on that, right, I will move to my next topic.
Well, yeah. Well, I'll just chatters. You can drop questions in, as long as they pertain to the topic. Don't, be thoughtful and make sure that you're keeping us focused.
Okay.
But Rip, I think you're good to keep going.
Yeah. So now I want to talk about positivity, right? What is positivity, right? Positivity is like, let's talk about in regards to the new traders who come on social media to learn, right? So positivity in regards to them, right? When I was trading a few years ago, there were a lot of traders I never liked, right? But even the traders I never liked, I thought they're shit. I still learned something out of them. If I'm something today, maybe I learned a lot from the people who I never really liked. So you don't really have to be, if you are negative in your life, right, it will show up in your trading. Or maybe you are being negative because you are dejected, desperate, whatever. Watch everyone. Even if somebody on Twitter you think is a pumper, or even on social media you think he's faking his portfolio, doesn't matter. There's always something to learn from even a losing person, right? So you have to build that mindset. Once you build that mindset, you will grab so many good things and you can evolve and improvise. I always say, watch. Trading is a discovery, right? You don't have to ask everyone, hey, what you doing? What indicator are you using? How did you do that? No, you can watch quietly. Even if you don't want to follow somebody, just watch them. Well, how they are good at something. That's why, they are on there. So if you build that mindset, then your whole energy will be focused to that. Just to give my example, I I was on Twitter, I was looking towards all the gurus, what are they doing? There are a lot of people I never really liked, right? But I never just went there saying, hey, what are you doing? With your shit, you're that. It won't do anything. It won't help me, it won't help my trading. So, but just watching and even learning from the people I never liked, I improvise so much in my trading, right? I even from let's say I was watching this guru who sold his indicators for thousands of dollars. So I watched him. I didn't like him, but what I found out that if these indicators could make you successful, why would he need to sell it? Right? That's why you don't. I'm not an indicator guy. I talk about EMAs and all that. That is just to read the trend, right? But for me, support resistance is which is most important, and it's just me. I'm just giving you an example. You can even learn something from a person you don't like, right? That will shorten your learning curve. Do that, and you will see the difference in you, right? So you see somebody, you think, okay, this guy is, oh wow, he's shit. I can't be him or her. No, you can be better than him. Why do you think you can't be, right? Because you already bring that negativity in yourself and dejection, and then that will never give you any returns. So just focus on positivity on trading. Even when you are losing, find something in your losing trade, be positive. So other thing I always talk about is how bad you want it. Do you want it bad enough that every time you do a same mistake you slap yourself? Do you want it bad enough that every time you blow up your account, you cry, wipe your tears, and come back? Do you want it bad enough that you sacrifice your party time, your drinking time, your personal time, and even after falling 20 times to get up to the 21st time, do you want it that bad, right? So how can you do that? How can you have that kind of conviction and belief in yourself? That will be from positivity. Just focus on yourself. If you are losing, nobody cares. Its fight is with you. You can go on Twitter and say, oh, this guy did that, this guy did nothing. Those guys will keep doing trading, making their money. But you have to focus on yourself. So it all depends how bad you want it. So positivity, personality, and your self-belief. Just believe in yourself, right? I'm an example. I have cried enough. I have slapped myself so many times. I used to, like, for example, my biggest mistake was shorting a high uptrend stock, right? Like Tesla is breaking out, I would short it, and when I will be out of my, blow out my $100,000 account, I changed that. I took that part of weakness out of me. I didn't go crying on a Twitter that, hey, you told me to buy puts on Tesla. That wouldn't do anything, right? So now I can, 100,000 is a scalp for me. Why? Because I changed. I never thought I'm less than anybody. You have to do the same. Just do these things. These matter a lot in your trading. So I just want to talk about it because in past few days I have seen a lot of some kind of negativity floating around. But this is for those who don't have it, or those who feel dejected, and for everybody, I guess, all the new traders. So I won't go more deep in that. I think that's around psychology I wanted to talk about.
That was really, really good. Pretty much any level of trader should be hearing this type of thing. No matter what market it is, no matter how big your account is. And what I especially liked about what you said is to focus on what works for your for your own personality.
Yeah.
Because I've done that a lot. Like a lot of what we do on this show, Rip, is we have guests on. They show us how they look at charts, and then I try to learn their strategy, and then I'll use it for like a week or something on the show. So I go through a lot of different indicators, a lot of different just formulas for different types of strategies. Yeah. And I've tried some stuff that has not worked out for me. And I've gone through periods on the show, guys, believe it or not, where my account is just flat or I lose money, and it's just because I'm experimenting with things. But just focusing on like really simple stuff that works for me has always been the most profitable. So that's just a little testimony.
Yeah. You just focus on your strength and how you want to trade. That's about it.
Do you want to take some questions? There's one question that keeps coming up, and I'm wondering if it applies to you. It's do you have any books that you recommend that focus on psychology?
Yeah, I personally believe the books won't do it. It's just your personal experience that would. But I think Jesse Livermore book is pretty good. You can read that because that encompasses, that's a real story and that everybody can relate to it. So Jesse Livermore.
So producer AB, can you get off Bumble and drop that in chat?
Livermore.
What was the book again, Rip?
Let me see. I'll forget the name. Yeah, I'll just post it somewhere. Stock operators. Yeah, I just put it there. This is the stock operator.
Reminiscences.
Reminiscences of stock operator.
So there you go. That's on the screen. So did you read a lot of books to get to where you are, or is it mostly just learning on your own?
Yeah, I started a lot of books, but I didn't finish them. I mean, the only book I really learned something was for my swing trading strategy, breakout strategy from William O'Neill, right? But most of it was just like I mentioned in my earlier interviews. Once I started on Twitter or StockTwits, I used to put these charts out, even if they work or not, all my swing trades. But then I started to know what works. So I know there's two different things. One is execution and one is education. Doesn't matter how much education you have. If you cannot execute, it won't matter. You can read 100 books, right? Maybe you start executing and then you will get that knowledge with experience. Just take a trade, you just take 1 share, 10 shares, whatever. Just focus on something and just go back and journal them. Journaling that, what you do is the best education. I wouldn't say the books helps, but books will be not the final answer to your success. Everybody wants books. Every new trader wants books, or every new trader wants a video or something. Just don't worry about it. Even if you want to be a fundamental investor, take a chart and then maybe read about fundamentals a little bit, but then look at the charts, right? Like I'm a techno-functional trader, so I would say books haven't really been part of my success. My success has been losses. Learning from the losses has been my success.
So I think we'd be remiss if we didn't ask you to share a chart and just talk a little bit about how you use your famous exponential moving averages.
Yeah. So talking about that, let's talk about a few things, right? I have few different setups. So I trade large caps, mid caps, growth, and biotechs, and low floats, usually, everything. And I do day trade and swing trading as well. Before I go to the EMAs and all that, so my swing trading strategy is based out of two things. One is buy, sell, buy higher, sell higher. Then there are some reversal setups, gap setups. Those are my swing trading setups out of the ranges or range boxes. So I tell them, I show them, like, I don't know if you can show my NVIDIA. Let's not even go back. Let's look at the NVIDIA chart, right? So NVIDIA,
Rip, do you want to share your screen?
Oh, I have 4 or 5 screens. I can't really share.
I can pull up. I'll pull up NVIDIA on mine.
Yeah, maybe I'll be ready one day. Right. So where you draw a triangle, I draw a range. Yeah, that particular breakout. So now I'm talking about these breakouts. You don't really need an indicator to trade that. So I keep telling people, yes, when you go intraday, hourly, you can use the trend following on EMA Clouds, but you don't really need to. We made so much money on this trade. All my followers made so much money on this NVIDIA trade, and I keep telling it's not a rocket science. People just don't open the chart. They have 20 indicators on their chart. Their chart is cluttered. They don't see the clear picture, right? The picture is here again, the human psychology. What did NVIDIA do? NVIDIA has tried 1, 2, 3 times to break that range. 3 times. More times the resistance is tested, bigger the breakout, right? Even if you take, there's the first 2 times where it was rejected, the second time was closer. and the resistance is never a point, it's an area, right? So so that was a breakout trade, and there are many examples of this, thousands of examples on my feed. A bigger trade before this was the AMD trade, which went out of the $100 range, right? So you can open AMD. I can quickly show that. We have to go to weekly or monthly to get a better view, right? Okay. So people don't zoom out. That's the other problem, right? People are trading. They just look at a smaller view. Just expand your view. What do you see, right? If you draw that, how many times 100 has been tested? Right. When it broke, I told people, like, I my old followers know my teaching. They don't even come to me. They are just making these trades on their own. They're right. So you don't need an indicator. So first of all, I know a lot of people, they want your EMA Clouds. Indicators is not an answer. Answer is the chart, and chart has a psychology, what's going on. Support resistance is only the leading indicator. Okay. Now, okay, we can talk about what do you need. You need a system, of course, right? Let's say this is my swing, this is my breakout system. But then how do I manage the trend? Like, how do I see if the trend is holding or not? So I built a system of EMA Clouds, right? EMA Clouds is nothing but the EMAs. I use 5 and 12 EMAs and 34 and 50 EMAs. They are lagging. They are not nothing is absolute. They are not a magic tool. They are lagging. But once I know that there's a trade has been started, right? Something has been started. There's a trend. I can read the trend. EMA is a confluence of buyers and sellers where they converge. Most important thing to remember is anything which is extended, price extended from EMA, it will revert back to EMA because it's extended. Every time it revert back. So for me, if I'm looking at this chart, right, I know the for the first trend is that green line 512, right? So I will hold my option calls or whatever I'm trading on that. Then my second level of risk will be the blue line, right? But that might be too wide for me to hold too, because I might lose more. It depends upon chart to chart. But I might buy a dip on that 3450 if I'm a dip buyer, right? Or I can wait a consolidation on that area. So you see that how these converge. It's pretty clear, right? So yeah, you can use them intraday on 10 minutes. Like I don't know what kind of chart I can show you today what we were trading. XQBG. Okay, let's look at this intraday chart we were trading. XQBG. 10 minute. Can we do 10 minute?
Yes, this is 10 minute. SQBG.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, this is DKNG. Oh, maybe I lagged. Oh, I'm looking at, sorry. I was looking at a different screen, So is this is 10 minute or is it 1 hour?
This is 10 minute.
Looks different on yours.
It could be the indicator is different.
No, okay. You have after hours on it?
I don't think so.
But anyways, so let's just talk about this. What we are looking at. If the chart is a little different, but the concept is same, right? The first support resistance is most important. Either you are daily trading, weekly, swing trading, investment. That is first, right? Then you need a trend system. My trend system is, let's say, SQBG. I know it's holding that 7 level, right? It's not an investment. It's a day trade, couple of day trades, whatever. But you see there's a line that's 3450 EMA. It's holding that. It went over it and it reclaimed it, right? And then so that for me is the bullish. But now I have a resistance as well on the top. What do I have? I have a resistance at 9, right? So I know when that resistance breaks, it will push, it will run, it will run, right? So this is just an example of a day trade. But once it runs, how do I manage my trade? I need a system to tell me when to get out, when to hold. And for that system, for me, is the EMA Cloud. I would like to see that 512 uptrend along with the price. Then I would like to see 3450 uptrend with the price. The moment it breaks down, the candle breaks down, I would think that the trend is broken. I would start thinking about exiting my position, right? And also treat it as a support and resistance. Along with the price levels, you can treat these EMAs as support and resistance. And again, I repeat, nothing is absolute. You have to, in your strategy, you would have to find something that is leading. Support resistance is leading. Everything is lagging. If somebody sells you an indicator, you don't need to buy it. You just need to find your own conviction. No indicator will do anything, right? People ask me, hey Rip, why don't you sell your EMA clouds? Why are you giving your edge to everybody? That's bullshit. That's a bullshit created by people who want to sell this stuff, right? I mean, if something works, it's better. If more people know it, it will work better, right?
Yep.
And when it doesn't work, we find something else, right? There's a change is name of the life. You keep moving on, but you have to stick with your system. A lot of times, what people do, and I tell you one thing too. A lot of people use my EMA clouds, but maybe not all of them are successful. Not all of them are successful. Where should I go? And my daughter. So a lot of people are not successful because even if you give them the best indicator, the best system, they would still not be able to execute, because let's say 2 trades fail. Oh, this system doesn't work, I'm out. No, it doesn't work like that. So you have to stick with your system in thick and thin. A lot of times when I'm taking a trade, like I always, even if my trade fails, I post it there, because it tells me when my trade fails, and then I try to find the variables, the parameters. So there are various variables. There's market sentiments. Low floats has a theme. Large caps would have the sentiment about how the IWM is working, NASDAQ is working. Other thing, new traders, make sure you understand how the market works. A stock is not just a stock. It's just a minute part of the whole stock market. Each stock is part of a sector sentiment. It doesn't matter you trade low floats, large caps, mid caps, everything is a sector. Then there's a theme. If you're day trading, intraday trading, you know the theme where the market sentiment is. So understand that. Don't just sometimes, there's a trade and let's say I give a Facebook trade and the Facebook falls down. I will get texts, from the noob traders. Hey, Rip, Facebook is falling down. You said buy these options. Did you look what NASDAQ is doing? Did you look what VIX is doing? Right. So have that big approach. Combine everything. Find a system. Find a trend following system. Find few of your setups. I have 5, 6, 7 setups. I have intraday setups. I have swing trading setups. I have investment setups or conviction play setups. And biotech, whatever. But I have my setups that I follow, and then I have under the setup I have this my system of trend following. Other thing people always ask me, how would you know it's a pullback or it's a trend change? You would know if you follow a trend following system. That's again the same thing I'm saying. Let's say let me give example of BBIG. So people say, oh, I thought it's a pullback and I bought it and it's going down, down, down. How did you decide it's a pullback or it's a trend change? You didn't, because you never had a system, right? Whenever it was falling down. So clearly for me, my system is EMAs. They tell me you can find a different system and combine it with support and resistance, whatever. Once you do all that, you will find success. Secret of success is finding your own conviction. I have said it 100 times. I keep saying it again and again. No guru, no guru, no me, nobody will be, there for your success. So yeah, that's all about how I use the EMAs and clouds.
Well, Rip, I wish we had more time, because this is, for me personally, I could talk for another 2 hours and just listen.
No problem. That's fine. I appreciate bringing me on and time to talk to my my followers, my friends, and everyone. And hopefully, I gave some good contribution, and maybe I'll make few good traders today. So
wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah, hopefully. All right. So thanks so much, Rip, and we hope to see you again.
All right, brother. I appreciate it.
All right. See you, man. You did good, AB. You did good.
I didn't do good. That's Rip, just dropping the knowledge, my man.
That is a damn good